Okay, guys, what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to go ahead and see how this all works here in terms of like how to receive the remote signal and all that good stuff. So there's a couple things you need to do. You need to come up with constant receive pin. Okay. IR receive pin. So what this means, it just means the pin that this thing's going to receive on. This is making up an object called of type IR receive called IRR-ECV. That's going to receive a signal from pin 6. Right, that's pin 6. And then there's another object called decode results, and we're just going to call it results. That's where the results of the, when I click this, that's where the results are going to be stored in the Arduino. There's some abstraction going on here, but it's not a big deal. All right. So just make sure that you go ahead and do this in your setup to make this thing work. You're going to say rreceive.enable IRN and rreceive.blink13 true. Yeah, you just turns on the turns it on in this object and makes it ready to receive signals. It's again, there's abstraction going on the hardware layer that I'm not going to go into right now, but that's just what you have to do to make this thing work. All right, so you saw those numbers up there. What we're going to do is, let me show you something really quick. Let me get rid of this really quick here. So if I hit start here, right, and let's just say I hit the 1 key. That's going to be this in hex. So you'll notice that I put in a bunch of hex values for 1. You'll say double 1R is this, FD 08F7. I could have put it in decimal. It's that in decimal. Just know that this number is too big to be an integer. This number is 3 bytes. An integer in Arduino can only hold 2. So yeah, that's why we make these all doubles. And these numbers come from, like for example, let's look at power. See, that's power. FD00FF. FD00FF. That's power. That's volume. So I just went through the list and I basically made a list up on my own, right? And I copied these down so you guys could copy these down. These are the values. All right. And what you do here, and the way this thing works is you say I received.decode results. So this is just saying, did I receive a signal? All right, cool. I received a signal. Well, let's just go ahead and print out you don't need that right now. Just print out the result. And we could print out, you know, whatever. Just make sure I have the right thing as well, right? I have the right thing. In terms of like, what am I receiving here? You don't need this. That's not important. And then what you do is you say IR receive dot resume, and that resumes the IR receiver. It resumes it working. And then you just do a little delay. You probably don't even need to do a delay, but we do a delay just to make it a little bit easier to catch signals and so we don't end up hitting something twice. Okay, so after we did all that, we put in all our values here, right? We went power, volume, function, blah, 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 and we did all our values. So now what we need to do is we need to do a way to make this thing work. So when we hit 2 numbers, we're going to increment the counter. The counter is going from 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. And then whenever the counter hits 2, we're just going to output the numbers to our channel changer or to our scoreboard, whatever it is, right? That's just how we're going to do it. That's how it's going to work. Keep it easy. If we have only 1 number and we only want to display 1 number, we hit enter. What we'll do is we'll just go ahead and just display only 1 number. We'll display, like, for example, 0901. We'll just put in a 0. We'll put in the number, and then we'll put in a 0. So we'll get like 01, 02, 03, you know, like that. All right, so let's go ahead and make up a a function here to make our lives easy. We're gonna send out an int. Oh, by the way, just so you know what we're gonna do, when we do 2 numbers, let me show you how this is gonna work here, just so you have an idea. So let's say we want 56, right? We put in 5, and then we put in 6. To get 56, we're just gonna multiply the first number we have by 10, and then we're going to add on the second number. So it's always going to be the sum is going to equal, if count equals 0, the sum is going to equal the number we hit. Else if count equals 2, the sum is going to equal the sum we have times 10 plus the new number we put in. So that would give you like the number with tens, all right? Just like, for example, let's say I put in a 4, and then I put in a 9, so I want 49. So the sum here is going to equal the number we have times 10 plus the second number we just entered. So that's 49. If we wanted to do a third number, that would mean it would equal the number we currently have times 10 plus the next number. But, you know, that would be like 490 whatever, right? We're not going to do all that. We don't need to. So we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to say int get num. And what we're going to do is we're going to take in a double value. Okay? And we're going to say this. If value equals all right. So it's just saying if value equals that, whatever that is in decimal, it doesn't matter on the computer. The computer doesn't care what it's comparing it to. It, you know, decimal and hex are, to the computer, you know, they're the same. We'll say this. We'll say, I don't know. We could just like send out, I don't know, whatever, right? You could just maybe turn off the 7-segment display, or we could just for now we'll say serial dot print ln test, right? And we'll say this. Let's say let's just test this out. Double cur number equals get num, and we could say results. So let's see how this works. ULTS. Let's see here. Results dot value. Sheesh. All right. And now when we do this in the serial monitor, we get test. So that means we know it worked, right? So that's storing the number. We just want to make sure that we're only going to add to our value if we hit a number, right? If we hit up, down, you know, left, right, we're not going to add to our number. So we're going to say get num. And we could do a lot in here. We could say if num equals this, well, what do you want to do with the power? I don't know. You could say, I don't know, turn it off, right? Let's see here. So what we could do is something like this. Let's see here. So we'll get a little code here. All right. So let's just say if it's this, let's do this. We could say, all right, we'll set our latch pin to low, and let's just write out, let's look at our table here, and we want to write out everything as off. So we could write out, let's see here. Zero. I think 0 will do it. Let's test it out. Let's literally not do that 0. Let's just put in 0. All right. Oh, okay, that's 8. Let's see here. Let's do 255. That's all of them on. That should turn it off. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. So that'll just turn it off, right? And we could do something like, if it's off, turn it on. If it's on, turn it off. So let's do that. So we're going to say int, call it on, off, equals on. Equals, we'll say on is 1. And we could say and on off is equal to 1. We'll turn it off, and then we'll do this. On, off equals 0, so we turned it off. Now, well, what should we do if it's currently, what do you call it? If it's currently on? Well, if it's currently off, rather. Well, we're going to kind of do the same thing, except if it's 0, we're going to turn it on. And we could just turn it on to, like, I don't know, 0, 0. Or just put a default channel. So like maybe channel 3, right? So let's try this. And then what we can do is on off is now 1. Bless you. So we can turn it off. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so if it's this, all right, on off equals 1, make on off 0. All right. And we could say if value equals, we don't have to say that actually, we could just say power. That's the same thing. Let's see why it's not working though. Should work. Oh, I see. We have to say else. There we go. That was a silly mistake by me. So we'll turn it off. We'll turn it on. Turn it off. Turn it on. Okay, 3 zeros wrong. So we put 3. Remember, we have to do this. And this one has to be 0. Okay, so that's like, it'll always turn on to channel 3. So now we have an on-off working. Cool. Yeah, that's really good. Let's stop the video here. We have some good stuff working, and then we'll continue next time.